Passionvine hopper cause sooty mould on fruit. So for a grower, it's an immediate loss, and they see that in front of them.
So passionvine hopper has been a problem pest for kiwifruit growers for the last couple of decades, ever since they removed broad spectrum insecticides from the spray program. If anyone's been to the Bay of Plenty, you'll realise that all the orchards are surrounded by gullies containing plenty of bush, native and exotic plants. And passionvine hopper mostly lives in those gullies. Every summer, the adults move from the gullies and into the kiwifruit block. And that's where they feed and ultimately create sooty mould on the fruit.
Fruit with sooty mould does not meet Zespri grade standard, and they are rejected during packing, which can lead to production loss. And in a bad passionvine hopper year, the impact can be in the order of millions of dollars.
Like most of the orchards in Te Puke, we border onto a gully and bush, which is just a favourite host. We were probably any losses between 3 and 4%. Which, you know, is reasonably significant for something that you should be able to manage.
Most of our controls have been ambulance at the bottom of the cliff when we get passionvine hopper in the orchard. And by then, as the saying goes, it's really too late. We want to be avoiding that situation rather than having to deal with it when it's desperate.
So our consumers and our growers are changing. Our consumers want a product that has been grown in a way that isn't harming the environment, and they want it to be safe to consume. But our growers feel the same way. Our growers want to ensure that they're providing a safe, residue-free product to the consumer, while also ensuring that they're growing in a sustainable way that ensures that their orchard and environment is, around for their children as well.
In 2020, Zespri, plant and food research scientists, KVH and industry technical representatives, growers as well as contractors came together to find a way to tackle the problem, which led to the formation of this project. This project aims to develop an integrated pest management plan that is not reliant on agrichemicals for use against passionvine hopper. The project aligns well with the principles of a lighter touch and is partly funded by the program.
We developed a project plan that was going to cover 3 main themes. The first of those themes was reducing passionvine hopper at source, i.e. in the gullies. Secondly, reducing the migration of PVH into the block. How do we do that? And thirdly, for the passionvine hopper that make it into the block, how do we manage those insects?
We have been very fortunate to have many innovative growers who put their hands up to be part of the project. And some of the ideas that we trialed actually came from the growers themselves. Typically, a grower will implement the practice as part of their standard orchard management plan, and the data are gathered by plant and food research scientists.
I wanted to find ways that didn't involve lots of my time and money sitting on a sprayer, and that came down to really finding ways to limit the spread of passionvine hopper from the bush into the orchard.
But I think there's a lot more to understand about how passionvine hopper moves, what stimulates the move into the orchard, whether there are more modern ways of preventing the pest from coming into the orchard, whether there are more modern ways of preventing it from building up adjacent to orchards so that we don't get it in the orchards in the first instance.
There's never going to be a silver bullet for passionvine hopper, and so it's going to be a matter of bringing together several different control measures and package them up into an integrated program, and only then will we start to make progress on reducing populations and the problem. We know that passionvine hopper live on multiple plants in the gullies, but what we were able to show was that some plants are really poor hosts. Some growers replace their gully plantings or their edge plantings with those plants. And we monitored and measured, and it's a very valid strategy for reducing populations of PVH. Reducing migration of PVH into the block's been a really big part of the project, and we've come up with multiple tactics to do this. First of which is to apply a really well-timed spray at the border of the gully, and this actually targets the nymphs and kills them very effectively and reduces the number of adults emerging and the number of adults migrating into the block early on. We also know that passionvine hopper are quite lazy, and the adults disperse by using plants. They cover an area by going from a plant to a plant. And so what a lot of the growers have tested for us is clearing an area between the gully and their shelter belt. And so this is barren land and actually really does reduce migration of passionvine hopper across that space. And the third thing we looked at was the shelter belts. An artificial shelter that's a solid barrier is ultimate. It will reduce migration by 95 to 100% nearly. Whereas the natural shelters aren't quite so effective, except for the dense cryptomeria. But some growers got quite clever and they've put artificial shelter along the bottom of those cryptomerias, and that's been quite effective at reducing migration as well. But we can't stop all the PVH entering the block, and those that do not only feed, but they also lay their eggs. And that can create a problem the following season. However, we were, over the course of the program, been able to show a single spray in winter can kill those eggs really effectively. And for the growers that don't spray or can't spray, we've recently also been able to show that mowing the orchard in spring will kill the nymphs when they emerge from those eggs. So two great tools that growers can readily use to target within block populations. We've completed a very large body of work, and I've only mentioned a few things and components. With the wins we've had in the project, we're a lot further forward in terms of managing it.
Yeah, for me it is about looking at the causes and saying that there's not just one solution. Every orchard is different, and so integrated pest management would say, well, you've got to tailor your solution to your situation.
What's been really encouraging is that as we've gone through the project and work, a lot of growers that have been involved in the project, and there's been a lot, have adopted the findings. How they used to manage their pests in year one of the project is totally different to how they do it now.
Yeah, I've taken several approaches. One has been to create artificial shelter barrier with clear area both behind it and in front of it. The data that's been done through monitoring has been really useful to me as well in making my management decisions. In the last 3 seasons, I've only done at the most one single spray around the edge of the bush, just at or before Christmas time to manage the nymph numbers of PVH, and that's the only spray I've done. And then the monitoring has given me assurance that my PVH population is low enough to not worry. You know, I've gone from 3% losses down to less than 0.5%, and that's worth several thousands of dollars per hectare every year. I'm spending less on my spraying.
We've been very focused on using the current tools and trying to time them as best we can, and being involved in this project has given us a much better understanding of when the numbers of passionvine hopper pest insects are building up, and particularly what stage they're at as to when they're likely to move from off orchard into the orchard. It's been really helpful for us.
A big part of this project has been that it provides scientific data for an IPM approach. And what we're needing to do is try and bring growers along on that journey so that they adopt that, and they believe that by implementing the processes that are laid out in that IPM program, that they will be able to manage that pest well.